Happening now, multiple injuries after a school bus drives over an embankment in Cattaraugus County. Tempers flare at a Town of Arkwright board meeting over a windmill project.
And I'm Dakota Hunter in the First Defense Weather Center. Well, a little bit of snow today before that big warm-up comes our way for the middle of the week, but a storm system comes our way for the end of the week. We'll talk about it next.
It was a game for the ages. It was a finish we'll never forget. And we're going to share the Alabama radio call with you to the game winner. National champs in sports next.
That's News Now for Tuesday, January 9th, 2018.
Live and on demand from the Chautauqua Audio Works studios in downtown Jamestown. This is your source for breaking news. WNY News Now.
And thank you for joining us. Happy Tuesday. I'm Justin Gould. Topping us today, a bus went over an embankment this morning in Cattaraugus County. A scary situation. Our Ryan Hedrick is at the scene.
Shortly before 7 a.m., the Cattaraugus County Sheriff's Office responded to the corner of Perimeter and Bone Run Road in the town of South Valley, where a school bus just didn't stop at the stop sign. It went through the stop sign, through the guardrail, and down an embankment about 50 feet. The miniature school bus contained 3 people, a male driver, a female who was monitoring a 4-year-old child. Now, this miniature school bus had just started its run, according to the Cattaraugus County Sheriff's Office. So 2 minor injuries sent 2 people to the hospital, but those people were not the 4-year-old child. He was actually released at the scene to his mother. The woman suffered an unknown back injury, and the driver suffered an unknown shoulder injury. The Cattaraugus County Sheriff's Office says it is very likely the driver will face charges, but they are in the preliminary stages of their investigation. Again, a miniature school bus ran through a stop sign, through a guardrail, and down an embankment about 50 feet down in the town of South Valley shortly before 7 a.m. today. 2 people treated at local hospitals. The 4-year-old child that was on the bus was treated at the scene and released to the care of his mother.
Ryan, thank you again. All 3 passengers sustained some sort of minor injury. The 4-year-old child, as Ryan said, was released to his mom. We'll, of course, keep you updated on those pending charges at our website and a little later on here at WNYNewsNow.com. In other news, the city of Jamestown made history Monday night when Democrat Marie Karuba was elected city council president. Karuba, the first woman president in the city's history, took the place of former President Greg Rabb, who after 10 years of service was voted out of office. Karuba says it's a different feeling when sitting in the president's chair.
I guess it's always been in my blood. My family, my father always talked politics and was always interested. I remember going to the polls when my parents voted for John F. Kennedy, and I was about 5 years old at the time. So I've always had an interest, but now it's been more, obviously on a level of serving rather than watching and observing. And I want to give back to the community. It's done a lot for myself and for my family in terms of where I raised my children and educated them here. And I always feel it's a noble profession to give back and serve the people.
Karuba said city residents are concerned with a multitude of things, like the well-publicized budget issues. She hopes that she can address those going forward. Tuesday night in the town of Arkwright, residents continued their protest of a windmill project that town officials say will be complete this spring. Last night, during a heated public comment session, residents took a stand against the project. At times, town supervisor Frederick Norton called for order in his town hall.
When you got cars coming with no regard to the public at all. I had my kids in the car taking them to school today and I almost came to a freaking sliding stop because the jackass and the loader come out of Ernie's. Never even looked and stopped to pull into their parking area. From grinding cement into the dirt, dumping it on the ground a foot deep and grinding it into the dirt with no fiber mesh, with no freaking filter mesh at all. How is that green by any means? How is that good for the environment by any means?
You have 30 seconds left.
You tell me what they've done good in this town. And if anybody in this room can look around and see what the hell they've done here, and can say that it's a good thing, that you love to see what Arkwright's turning into, I would be disgusted at anybody that could think that this township, the way it was, and it'll never look this way again, was worth what they've done to it.
You're done. Any other comments?
What we'll be getting from the windmills is about $325,000 per year from the town. So it's going to be at a substantial decrease or a substantial increase in our revenue base. We have 40 miles of roads, about 30 miles of that are dirt. We took 2 surveys from professional pollsters, and we found that only about 20% of the population were against the project.
Now, Norton said the project started back in the early 2000s, and most people then seemed to be in agreement with it. Either way, the windmill will be in place this spring. Now we check in with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter, who's standing by, and a new look at the First Defense Weather Center. Looking good over there, Dakota.
Yes, we do. We now have a big monitor here in the Weather Center, so that way we can show you some really cool graphics while being here in the Weather Center. And I just got to say, that was a heated argument there at that town hall meeting. Woof, man, that was pretty heated. Now, let's go on to the weather headlines. Let's take a look at the weather headlines that we're watching for this week. Pretty much for today, a few more snow showers. That'll pretty much do it for about that to go along with. But we do see unseasonable warmth coming our way for the middle of the week. That's going to skyrocket temperatures well above average. And we got a strong cold front coming our way toward the end of the week. That's probably going to bring us possibly rain, snow, or ice. There's still some uncertainty with that. So break down today's forecast. Pretty much few snow showers throughout the day. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies. The temperatures will range pretty much to the upper 20s in the valleys to around 30 at the lakeshore areas today. We'll break down this full First Defense forecast along with that big warm-up coming away in just a few minutes. Back to you,
All right, Dakota, thank you. We're looking forward to that. Up next, congressional candidate Max Delapia is in studio for a chat about his campaign and some issues we face here in Western New York. And later on, more on today's school bus accident in Cattaraugus County, all when we return.
WNY News Now is sponsored by Chautauqua Audio Works, 3335 South Roberts Road in Fredonia. More than a music store. Call 679-4333. Call now, 679-4333.
The Main Landing Restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
Everything's made fresh here. We love to be outside, and it's nice inside if it's raining, so we have a choice.
Locals and non-locals agree that the Main Landing is quickly becoming a destination.
It's just so casual, and just the food is amazing.
I love the hamburgers.
But I really like the tuna I had.
The Main Landing Restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now. You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And welcome back to News Now. We are with Max Delapia, who is running for Congress. Max, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. We spoke at a Tom Reed Town Hall a few weeks ago. I think it was back in January, was that right? Or December. I think it was in December. It was one of Tom Reed's last town halls of 2017. You were there kind of looking on to that, and we spoke a little bit, I think, via email before. Can you talk about where you come from and also why run for Congress. Why now?
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. My name's Max Delapia, and I live with my wife Nancy in Owego, New York, Tioga County. We have 3 grown adult children and 2 grandchildren. And Nancy and I both went to a town hall meeting in May, and we both came to the same conclusion, that Tom Reed really is not representing our district well, and that he needed to be replaced. I feel like we really don't need a politician. We need someone who has core values of integrity first and service before self. And unless we send someone different to Congress, we're going to get more of the same.
Right.
So I'm concerned for the future of my children, not just because of Tom Reed, but because of who he rubber stamps and the person that he supports. Let me explain. Our daughter is a trans woman, and she has to fear for her safety. And it seems the environment is breeding bias and unfairness to those LGBTQI folks, and I think that's something that we need to caution against because it's very dangerous. Our son is, and our grandchildren are in Europe. He flies for the Air Force. He's a KC-135 pilot. And every morning I wake up and I look at the news to find out what the president has said or tweeted to increase the risk to him, his family, and to us here. And last but not least, my son Alex is living and working on a farm, and he struggles to pay for health care insurance. So now we put it in context and we say, what's Tom Reed doing? How's it harming us? And what can we do differently? So as I look, I'd say what we really need is not, like I said, not a politician, but someone who is a public servant. And that's what I've done my entire life. So he has taken virtually the wrong road on every issue. Healthcare is something that should be a right, not a privilege. We should have a tax reform package that is fair, that provides relief to the middle class and small businesses, but instead we have a tax plan that provides really rewards for donors. And it also is $1.5 trillion worth of debt for our children and our grandchildren. And last but not least, he has defended in every case the indefensible of what the president does on a daily basis. And he doesn't vary from that at all. So as we go forward, it's very important who we choose as the person to face and defeat Tom Reed. So what type of a person do we really need? I submit that we need someone who has a broad life experience, someone that has a firsthand knowledge of the legislative process, and someone that has a lifetime of track record of leadership and team building. I spent over 30 plus years in the Air Force as an officer, a pilot, a commander, Air Force Academy graduate, and I've also worked outside the military, sometimes doing both as a reservist. So I've been a litigator, a defense attorney, I've been a businessman. I've worked for Lockheed Martin in business development for over 5 years. And last but not least, I spent a year and a half, first as a Brookings Fellow for Senator Carl Levin, on his personal staff for a year, and then 6 months as an Air Force Senate liaison officer for the Secretary and the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. Now, why are those traits and qualities important as we choose someone to represent the Democratic Party as we move forward? First of all, I think a veteran can appeal to some of the rural and conservative voters across the district, not just Democrats, but unaffiliated and quite frankly, moderate Republicans that are disaffected or are not happy with the way things are going in Washington. I also think that having leadership experience and team building experience along with that legislative experience will allow me on the first day to be an effective legislator for our district.
Now, Max, years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, I believe, Tom Reed was challenged by a Randolph native, John Plum, who, similar to your experience in the Air Force, thank you for your service, by the way, was working with congressional representatives as a liaison like that. And, despite his efforts, he was not successful to beat Tom Reed. How are you going to do it differently than he?
Tom Reed's a very seasoned politician.
Right.
And he took a comment that was easily answered in retrospect in 2020 hindsight, and I don't mean to say anything against John, but in just a few seconds, he was asked, if you don't win, will you stay in the district? And he looked up just for a moment, wanted to give an honest answer. And what he could have said, in retrospect, is this is my home. This is where my parents live. This is where I grew up. This is where I want to raise my children. But if I cannot find a job
right.
to feed my family, I may have to move.
Right.
And that would have been the end of it. But instead, it got replayed and replayed with the eye roll and everything. And I think that's pretty despicable because it takes it away from the issues which are really hurting the people here and puts it on something that's completely, he may say to me, hey, you're not from here, you're...
Right.
Yeah, but I've moved 10 times where the country sent me and my family, and I served, and he didn't.
A lot of people in Chautauqua County, in all of the district, have been forced out almost from their homes because of the blight here, the lack of jobs. But Tom Reed, in a way, working with almost that spirit of 2016 with Donald Trump's Make America Great campaign, believe in Trump's idea and Tom Reed's support of that there is indeed change, and there has been change in Washington. Do you think that even though you are from the opposite party as Tom Reed, your outsider ability would help you get in almost similar to Donald Trump? We saw that here on a local election. It didn't quite work, where Mike Ferguson ran for county executive, and Norm Green was quoted as saying, the county Democrat chairman, saying that, almost that similar outsider aspect, because a lot of people are tired of party politics in a way. They'll vote either way.
You're exactly right, Ryan. I would say timing is probably of the essence because right now people are tired of the polarization that we see in government. They want somebody that's actually going to go in, work the issues, collaboration, having a dialogue with both sides, not doing something in a back room and coming out with it, take it or leave it. The Hessert rule, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it basically is unless Paul Ryan has all the votes he needs to pass something, he won't put it out because he doesn't want to lose control of it. Right. He doesn't want amendments and all that. But what we need to do for the country and for the good of the people here and across the nation, we need to go for a higher level of interest, not special interests, those parties that invest a whole lot in these campaigns, but look for the good of the country and the good of the people. And that's something that's been missing for a long time. And I think that's what will appeal to all voters because we want to move forward as a country, not as a party.
And final question here for people who maybe believe in that Trump spirit and that's why they voted for it. You're clearly not a supporter of him. But how could you appeal to them? Well,
I understand why they voted for him. They didn't think anybody was listening. Nobody's talking on my behalf. If I can't have a voice in Washington, then I want someone to just go in and blow it up. I mean, make something happen because there's frustration and anger, really. So as we move forward, he's talking about infrastructure. We need infrastructure. The studies I see say $2 to $3 trillion. Industrial Engineers Association has a $2 to $3 trillion worth of work needs to be done. So I would say instead of spending $1.5 trillion to provide the very wealthy a tax deduction and those corporations, if we spent just a small fraction of that on improving our infrastructure, those are real jobs and they can actually be an economic engine, and President Trump is talking about that. So if we have something we agree on, let's not argue about it. Let's move forward for the good of the nation. So for every $1 billion spent, it's 25 to 30,000 jobs.
Right.
So 1.5 trillion, I don't do public math, but I could. But we could spend a very small portion of that deficit spending, and I would actually agree with that over what we got.
All right. The conversation, of course, will continue. Max, we'll hope to have you back at some point as well.
Thank you so
for
much.
Being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it very
And now
much.
to your First Defense weather forecast.
Now, your First Defense Forecast with Dakota Hunter.
Well, Erie Bayfront Sky Vision camera out there today, and you can actually see some of the ice on the lake out there today, and it's looking pretty nice out there. We did ice up that lake. We'll talk about the ice accumulation in just a couple of minutes out there today. Now, on the radar, we don't have a whole lot returning on the radar today. That is obviously the good news, and as we take a closer look here at Doppler vision, nothing is really going on across the area right now. That is obviously the good news of the whole situation. Now, as we zoom the radar out, you can pretty much see here that we don't have a whole lot. There's some snow showers going on out toward Syracuse and Albany, but otherwise that is the good news for today. Let's go and take a look at the Metrocast for today. And about 1 o'clock today, we'll be at about 28 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. So that is the good news there. Now, as we fast forward to about 5 o'clock, 26 degrees, mostly cloudy skies will continue. There is a chance of a snow shower throughout the day today, but otherwise I wouldn't worry too much about that. But there is a slight chance of that throughout the day. And then as we go to 9 o'clock, the clouds start to break apart and we go down to 18 degrees for 9 o'clock tonight. So that is looking A-okay for there. 28 degrees at the airport right now. We have a wind chill number of 17 when you combine it with that west wind of 14 miles an hour. But as I said yesterday, at least we don't have a negative number as a wind chill. That's always the good thing. The temperatures at the airport locations today, not bad out there. Again, 28 in Jamestown, 30 in Dunkirk, 31 in Erie, 31 in Buffalo, 33 in the Falls, 34 over in Rochester, and 27 in Olean down in the Allegheny River Valley. Now, as we take you through the next 24 hours on FutureScan, it's picking up on the cloud cover. Now, the model is pointing out some snow showers up around the Buffalo Metro. I'm not gonna rule out a chance of a few snow showers down in our direction. This is the Rapid Precision model, by the way. And this model really doesn't pick up on it. There might be a chance for a few light snow showers throughout the day today, so kind of keep that in mind. Lake Erie ice coverage. Take a look at this. It is 81% ice coverage. That is the average amount of ice that is out on the lake, and the average ice thickness is actually 6.1 inches. And we think with the warm-up that's coming, the ice that is out there will probably remain even through the warm-up as well. Next 7 days of your life coming up on the screen, brought to you by Quick Solutions. And you can see we go to 42 on Wednesday. That's going to feel nice. And then we go to Thursday to 54. Again, we got to keep an eye on potential ice jams because of the melting as well. But then we go 50 on Friday before the temperatures really come back on Sunday. There is a chance Friday through Saturday a storm system will cross through the region. Big uncertainty whether if it's going to be rain, snow, or ice. We'll keep an eye on that for you. Ryan will have sports right after the break, so stay with us.
First Defense Weather is sponsored by Quick Solutions of Jamestown. Count on Quick Solutions for printing, copying, mass mailings, and so much more. Part of your team. Learn more at QuickSolutionsUSA.com. That's QuickSolutionsUSA.com. Like great food, great news needs experts. Become a community reporter when you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about. Drop us a line on Facebook today. Speaking of great food, Jeremy's Bellevue offers pasta, classic burgers, seafood, and of course, wings. Visit Jeremy's Bellevue on Facebook.
The team that puts coverage first.
We have some breaking news Police confirming now that Steve Stevens was found dead in Erie, Pennsylvania.
His house is on fire and it's dangerously close to the Appleyard Terrace.
Fire crews battling another blaze.
It needs to be treated as the terrorist act that it is.
He got the ball, he just went to the hoop and he shot it.
And as for the star of the show, Tucker Pierce.
I feel good. Proceeds from the Battle of the Classes going to the Alex Folk Foundation.
50 years of service and dedication to anything is very impressive. Put your lives on the line for your neighbors.
It's just something that I think people should do. You have to give back to the community.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now. WNY Sports Now is powered by Phone Zone of Jamestown. With the largest inventory around, we buy and sell our own merchandise at a price that can't be beat. Have a broken screen? We'll fix it. Learn more at phonezoneshop.com.
Here's a look at what's trending. Well, what a game. So much has been said about the Alabama-Georgia finish. I really can't say much more. Look at this pass and this call courtesy of the Crimson Tide Radio Network.
Stepping back, loads up, looks long, throws, end zone, touchdown! Alabama! Devontae Smith! Touchdown, Alabama! And the Crimson Tide has once again ascended to the top of the college football mountain. Alabama is back as the champion of college football.
The man of the hour, the true freshman quarterback that made that throw and led Bama back against all odds and with a pretty significant deficit. Talks about the recruiting process and how Coach Saban even found him.
I don't know how Coach Saban found me all the way in Hawaii from Alabama, so I just thank God he found me and, we're here right now.
Coach Saban now 6 national titles. Georgia has not won a national title in 39 years. St. Bonaventure men's and women's basketball back in action tomorrow. As for the men, they were riding an 8-game winning streak when they lost a pair at Dayton and at St. Joe's. St. Bonaventure will try to get back on track tomorrow against Fordham. The women are in Dayton, a place that the men just lost. Both games tip at 7. And again, the big storyline, the men just trying to get back on track after winning 8 straight. They've lost 2 in a row. To the NBA we go, where the Minnesota Timberwolves made very easy work of the Cleveland Cavaliers. That did not make LeBron James very happy. You don't want to do that, at least down the stretch later on in the season. Look at that lob pass. Nice. And that kind of epitomized the whole night for the Cavs. Final score, 127-99. Minnesota cruises past the Cleveland Cavaliers. High school basketball, and our man Devin Pope was back in action. He had 37 points in a 76-25 victory over Faulkner last night. That's 51 points, folks. Yes, and Devin Pope probably could have outscored the Faulkner team all by himself. No slight against them. He's just a great player. Devin Pope, again, 37 points, several three-pointers, and a lot of buzz around this area, following that young man all the way through. From the Phone Zone Sports Desk, I'm Ryan Hedrick. It all unfolds here. EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And welcome back to News Now. We're continuing to learn more information about a miniature school bus accident in the town of South Valley in Cattaraugus County earlier this morning. A 4-year-old child, a male bus driver, and an aide were on that bus. The child was uninjured, according to deputies. Charges are pending for that driver, who police say ran the stop sign. Luckily, the bus was halted and did not end up in the frozen-over Allegheny River. Ryan Hedrick was on scene earlier today and spoke to a sheriff's deputy who says that this was not the first crash at that intersection.
Have you seen anything like this in your career?
Once previous, same exact spot, a large passenger car many years ago went down over the embankment. And unfortunately, I'm one of the reconstructionists for the department, so I see a lot of bad stuff like this. And unfortunately, wintertime, you're going to have a lot.
Quick response from the guys, though. Everybody helped out.
Oh yeah, I don't even know how many fire departments showed up, but everybody worked together. State police showed up to assist us. Everybody worked well together today.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, cool. Thanks.
Now, again, all three of those passengers did sustain some sort of minor injury. Luckily, that 4-year-old child wasn't injured that bad, and he was released to his mother on scene. Just scary, though.
Yikes, that is some scary stuff, man.
All right. Yeah. Well, weather is another scary thing, although this week it's looking a little nicer.
Yes, let's take a look at that Quick Solution 7-day forecast one final time on this Tuesday. So pretty much for today, 30 degrees. Snow showers are pretty much for the early hours. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, not going to rule out a chance of a few more snow showers throughout the day. And then the warm-up comes our way tomorrow, lasting through Friday. That will cause some potential melting of the ice on the streams and creeks. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And then the swarm system comes our way Friday through Saturday. It is still in limbo if it's going to be snow, ice, or rain. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Now the newer computer model runs really are kind of moving the temperatures much colder now than they were yesterday. So we'll go back into the teens for early next week. But as I said yesterday, very quickly, long-range computer model guidance 2 weeks out. Big January thaw comes our way, but I won't say any more on that until I'm more confident to say more.
All right, Dakota, we're going to send you outside tomorrow. Does that sound fun?
Okay.
It's going to be 40. It's going to be nice. That's for sure. Thank you, sir. That's going to do it for us again today. Be sure to join us in here tomorrow for another edition of News Now. In the meantime, coverage continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com, where coverage is always coming first. Have a great day.
See you tomorrow.